the Sad Dads Club podcast. Here's everybody's favorite sad dads, Jim and Boo.
Hey, at least it's hot and muggy.
I was going to say, it doesn't look nearly as bad as it did maybe an hour and a half to 2 hours ago.
Yeah.
All day, it was like, pick something.
Yeah.
You fuck.
Yeah. It was like overcast to the point to where when I put my car back in the garage, like maybe it was right around 5 o'clock, 5:30.
Yeah.
I put my car in the garage because I had I went to go get dinner. Got dinner.
Done go make the eating.
I went to go get it, and it was overcast. So I took my shades and just left them in my car because normally I'll take them in the house.
Right.
And I was like, I probably won't need these later. And then maybe 45 minutes later, I come out and there's sun, and I'm like,
I don't know.
What is happening?
Since Sunday, we've been getting from the Amazon lady the preppings. Hi, extreme heat warnings.
Oh yeah.
Hi, extreme heat warnings on blah 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 through blah blah to blah blah, and all,
Yeah.
When is it coming in? And Venus is like, oh, shit's gonna hit the fan again Wednesday, Thursday, because we've got the other party thing on Saturday. So I'm like.
Oh, cool. It'll
how
be nice
often?
and hot.
How many people are we gonna stuff in here? Fucking great,
Yeah, because that's the worst.
I'm gonna have to get an equity line to run the fucking AC for 12 hours.
Hey, fire up the misters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and it got to
Sorry,
today.
Lake.
Yeah. Sorry.
Sorry, Folsom.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah. Too bad. So it got till this morning, and somewhere about 10, I'm like. Usually I can tell the heat is when this fan over here over the studio
the garage,
kicks in. Of late, so far this summer, days that hit upper 90s, it'll kick on about 11 a.m. It kicks on. I'm like, and depending on how hot the day is going to be, becomes relative to when I start hearing the white noise in the office of this fan. Like if I make it get all the way to noon,
it's cool.
It's cool, and I'll open up the windows and I'll be fine, and we won't even probably have to touch the whole house fan. But when it kicks on at any time before 11, we're in the 90s, and the house gets shut down to try and coast the mid to low 70s that the whole house fan has bought us over the evening and into the early morning.
Yeah.
And we play it by ear. This morning this fucking fan kicked on at 9, and I went, oh fuck, here we go. But then I look
and it's
at about 10, and it's overcast. I'm like, where is the I don't want it. Let's be clear. I don't want it.
Well, if it's going to be overcast, please be cool and rainy.
Yeah, but at the same time, I don't want to get donkey punched by the heat, being like, oh, it's overcast, so we're gonna, the AI got this one wrong, huh? Okay, and then to make it till maybe 2 o'clock, and it's all of a sudden, hey, you want to see the world's fastest ramping up of temperatures? Guess what? We're gonna clear the skies and bake your nuts by fucking 10 degrees in an hour and a half. Ready, go.
Well, I don't think it made it past 95-ish, but it felt hotter because it was overcast. But Saturday, it's supposed to be 104.
Is it? Fuck.
Yes.
Maybe we just pushed it off a day. I'm not.
I don't know. I mean, whatever.
Happy about that either. Then.
I mean, living here, that is the gamble you take if you plan any kind of thing that you might have outside. It might be hot. You just have to roll with it.
And it's that's why I didn't really. Now I've talked shit, so now I've got it coming. But it's this summer, this year.
Yeah.
I would say, if memory serves, it hasn't been as bad as it was last year. Last year, I felt like we were in here in this situation doing a lot more hot mop, sweat and wishing
It's been hot, but we haven't had any like 110, 112s.
Right. Streams of that.
Yeah.
Like it's been upper 90s.
Yeah.
It hit 100.
We've stayed pretty steadily in the upper 90s, low hundreds.
But it hasn't been that like string of 105s for like a week straight kind of shit.
We're getting that. That's what this is coming up. I just pulled it up because I think the weather's fascinating. We've got 3 days really. Well, so not a whole week, but 3 days of 102, 105, and 104 leading up to Saturday. So,
well, I'm not going to shame or mock Mother Nature because maybe she'll turn that shit around.
Maybe. We just need a Delta breeze.
Well, I'll take that.
Yeah.
And hey.
And we hope it's cooler where you're at.
Right, because no one wants you to be a sad dad.
Yeah. And, it's episode 204.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. 204.
Yeah.
I'm the Lord Fu.
I'm Jim, and we're sweating balls.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, let's not.
Oh, I mean, I haven't had any.
There.
Yeah, I haven't had anything drip down anywhere yet.
I have knee pit sweat.
Oh, do you?
Yeah.
I have sweat there. Just it hasn't accumulated enough to overcome the, water quotient that it can carry.
I was thinking about this as coming into tonight's show because I have like gym stories, not you, Jim, but gym fitness stories. Roughly how long have we been talking about like the consistent gym stuff? May?
Somewhere in there.
May, June, somewhere
maybe
before
April.
Probably about April.
Yeah, April or May.
So Venus and I think it's the beginning of this month. We had been trying to every 3 weeks take like at least weight measurements.
Mm-hmm.
But we were terrible at like, let's do it this Friday, and then we were terrible at it.
So you just couldn't.
We weren't
planning ahead,
right?
Or
but I think the 1st of August, the beginning of this month, fell on a Friday, where she has like a flex schedule where every other Friday she has off, where it aligned, where we're like, today's the day, and it also came close enough to the beginning of the month where it was like, oh, this all jives, great, today's that day. Now, I had some measurements from since we've been doing it, but they were like hodgepodge. So we've got April, let's say May, June, July, 4 months. Now, there was the Alaska trip in there for me and a couple other things where dad life, husband life, work life prevented the consistent gym stuff. Same for you, right?
Oh, yeah.
Even though, man, I want to be here. But 4 months of time, but I've been consistent about, dialing in and working even harder on meal planning and portion sizing, paying attention and eating it better, drinking more water, stuff like that, and trying to hit these gym markers as much as possible. And Venus, I can't speak to her discrepancies and plus and minus, but after 4 months of time, even focusing on it, I'm only like within single digits of where I roughly started 4 months ago.
Mm-hmm.
Down, but single digits. And like in pound like weight loss, I think it's not even 2 pounds.
I mean, skinny motherfucker like you, it's going to be harder for you to lose weight.
But I can tell you from a personal perspective, I feel better.
Right.
And the muscle mass wise, I feel like there's more bulk there. Mm-hmm. So I could explain away some of the weight transition as perhaps
you're replacing it with muscle.
Right. It's entirely possible.
Yeah.
Are we talking double digits of no, but I do feel better, and I have a perception when I look at myself in the mirror as perhaps I am making some progress. The numbers don't reflect it, but what it looks like to me in the mirror feels like I'm making progress here. And that is like positive reinforcement on top of wanting to actually be in and at the gym.
Right.
So it's all like starting to come to place. Now, if you were to juxtapose that with, I think probably last year fall, when Venus and I were talking about running, and we hit some sort of struggle where we're like, we've been doing this running thing, and the ramp up to trying to see gains wasn't happening, and it was like an instant, like, we get back to the term donkey punch. It was like, why would I want to keep doing this? It feels like I'm putting in the same amount of effort, and I'm not getting anything. We've changed how we're exercising, focused a little bit more on healthy eating and portion sizing, and while it doesn't show in numbers, like I've lost 10 pounds, like it's not there. It's just not there. But if you look at yourself, it's like, and how you feel, there's positive gains. And that's the type of stuff when I look at now at the age I'm at and the time I have to spend where I feel like I'm making gains for my health and fitness and like a positive mindset.
Yeah.
So that's where I'm at. And plus, like, I have extra goals, like when we talk about Fiji, June of next year, like I have body fat percentage goals where I want to feel real comfortable not wearing a shirt by June of next year. So I'm here in a body transformation goal that I know is going to take work, but I'm also not 20 years old where I can, be on a high protein liquid diet for 7 days and I've shed off 5% body fat.
And a 6-pack of beer every other day.
Yeah, and like eat shit and McDonald's and fries or whatever, and and I'm never gonna feel it like my fucking son is lean as hell.
Right.
So I have long-term goals, and it's seeing some of this early positive reinforcement. Like I'm all thumbs up. Like here we go. This is the right path.
Yeah.
And it feels good to be doing these things that 2, 3, 5, 10 years ago felt like chores. Like I don't want to go to the gym. Like this is time taking out to go. Mm-hmm. Now it feels like like I want to be here for things as a dad, as a parent, as a husband. And I see these positive goals. Like, this is a good place for my time.
We have really fallen off the wagon as far as gym, because we were going a lot. And with my daughter coming home from college and her being around all the time, it became, and especially ramping up to her leaving for grad school, became increasingly more difficult to get to the gym, time-wise. So we had this discussion like, we're doing the show tonight, but we're back at the gym tomorrow.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I was going to say something.
Yeah.
Did I? I may have made a shot like last night. Like, Jim, get back in the gym or workout. But I may have tamed it down from what my original, because I was like, man, you've been driving, and I didn't want you to feel like I was punching in the dick.
Yeah.
But I was going to say something like, hey, man, tomorrow you only get one more day off because podcast is Wednesday, but Thursday, back in the saddle, brother. Right. Like, I'll help keep you accountable, me. And I felt like we've had a good, like a self-ramping, like keeping each other, like.
And we're opposite, it seems like.
Yeah.
You're at the gym when we're not. And there's overlap, of course, but it seems like the cycle is that we're off and you're on and you're on and we're off or whatever.
Hopefully,
it is.
now we're both back in. Yeah.
Well, Shan and I both know. Let's just, we talked about it, especially on the way home yesterday. Like, things are calm at the house now. The kids have left.
Yeah, the nest is semi-empty again.
Yeah, I mean, there's work to do at the house right now, but it's minor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We told Xander because Xander's still, he can write out the free student membership at Planet Fitness, I think, till the 31st.
Mm-hmm.
And we told him, like, school's starting. Here's the thing. When your mom and I decide to, because we don't want to keep him out late, and we generally have been going to the gym at like 9-ish, 8:39-ish. Like, you need to be in bed and managing your time. But if we take off early, and you want to go, you need to tell us. I'm not gonna force you to go.
Yeah.
And Monday, we left early enough to where we were like, we're going to the gym, and he got right up from the desk and was like, I'll go.
Oh, wow.
So he's still interested.
Yeah.
And that's on his own accord, not like a clawed drag. So Monday, we got to the end of the circuit. We did like the 30-minute thing. And we went into that other room that has it's like up against the front, the glass, and it has a couple of those.
It's like the stretching room or something.
Yeah. It's almost like stirrups where they have the ones where you're straining to push out, so it's like your hip flexors on the outside, but then when you're trying to squeeze together, like you're squeezing a walnut between your knees kind of thing.
Mm-hmm. I do that every day.
I never use those. Yeah. And generally they're like, it's popular with the ladies because it's like a glutes thing and working your flexors and your groin. So I have Xander, like, here, get in the one. It was the one with you're trying to close your knees against resistance. So you're squeezing the walnut between your knees. I start him with nothing, and I get a couple plates down in it. And I'm like, so we're just trying to go, like, see where you're at. And he, couple plates down. It's all good. And Venus is like, all right, okay. So we get Venus in there. And she's like, she's
oh, wow,
3/4 of the fucking stack. And I'm like, well, don't hurt yourself. Don't hurt yourself.
She's like, I do this all the time.
Yeah, about right here. And I mean, it's
substantial.
It's a good chunk of the stack. And listen, there's no dick measuring.
Yeah.
But I was like, well, fucking, why would I start at anything less? I'm a fucking full-grown ass man. This should be no problem for me.
And she did it without a problem.
Yeah, she's like, okay, she did like a good handful and didn't look like she was like on her last one. It was like to failure for her. She was like, okay, yeah, that's probably where I would, right about there. And I'm like, fucking all right, well, get the fuck out. I'm going to get in here. And let me tell you.
So you did it at the same level?
I did not move the weight from where she left off.
Okay.
And I closed my legs one time so I could do the weight.
Yeah.
But there was just short of a fucking taser on my nutsack as to what this felt like, as like it was pulling on my balls trying to close. It was intense. And I started to do a second one because it was like my pride was like, you should be able to do this.
Just one?
Yeah. I'm like, I got halfway through that second one and I went, I have to stop. It already feels like someone's trying to pull my balls back up through my scrum. I'm like,
Yikes.
I'm done.
Yeah.
And I get up out of the machine. She's like, I don't know if I've ever seen you move that fast. And I went, it was like a sharp shooting fucking pain.
Really? Wow.
Yeah. I'm like, I had to stop. It was like, I did one and that was it. It was, yeah. So, hey, some machines you're just not built for, and that's okay.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
As a testicle.
Yeah. Man, be careful of the weight, because holy shit. I mean, that thing, it learned me real fast. I went, whoa.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was intense. Like my groin just lit up on a fire, and I'm fine now. But it was like, if I'd have tried to keep going for some sort of pride bullshit.
I'm fine now.
Yeah. I didn't leave with a hernia or anything, but I was like, fuck, that's how you do stupid shit. That's how you get hernias, or you blow a
ego.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I'm done.
Yeah.
Holy shit. She's like, that was fast, Mike. It felt like someone had tasered me, and it reminded me of, I've seen it on TikTok. It's it's those TENS units that do like the the thing is to men to put them like on your abs, just below your waistline, and then you crank it up, and you give it to a woman first to see the tolerance that a woman has, and the whole shtick is that a woman dealing with menstrual cramps is used to that tier of pain, and without touching the unit, you then slap the pads on a dude. And then, okay, so can we go to here and watch the dudes just straight up crumple? That's what this was like. It was like, my wife just was like, yeah, no big deal. And that weight for me was like, no, absolutely not.
Interesting.
You have testicles, and this should not be happening.
I don't like those TENS units. I don't like the way they feel. They feel like you're getting stabbed with like a pin, That's what they feel like to me.
I think a lot
It's
of
very
that depends
sharp.
on the
Very sharp.
the unit, because some of them will do
like a broader.
a throb, like a wah, wah. And then some are like the taser punch.
Yeah, we have one at home, and it just feels like I'm getting pin pricked or something. And I just don't like that. Don't care for that feeling.
We saw last night. Last night was still. I thought we'd be done with the high school kids, but last night there was still a good gaggle of young men, all like doing curls at
as long as it's free.
Mirror.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
They're always like.
It was the first time at that gym, and my wife pointed. # I love my wife. The first time that Venus or I had seen a woman preening, like in front of the mirrors,
really?
like full on sports bra out, and like watching herself, and then like frequently adjusting.
Oh my gosh!
Adjusting the girls in the mirror, and the high school boys.
Oh,
they loved every moment of it, because then they went over and started doing the seated row shit next to her in her squat rack. But wow, that's the first time I've seen a young lady actually puffing out the peacock feathers for the audience. I'm like, wow, all right.
There's one guy at the gym that like I haven't seen him in a while.
I have not seen.
You know who I'm talking about?
Is it Data's bro crush?
No, different dude.
Oh,
but he was there. He's been there several times. But the first time I saw him, he was like going. The racks are like bolted to the ground or some shit, right?
Yeah.
And he would like do some fucking thing on it. I don't even know what he was doing. And then next thing you know, he's up on the side of it doing pull-ups. And then he'd walk around and like stare at people and like, and he's, and I'm like on the elliptical going, what the fuck is this guy's deal?
Oh, we saw, yeah.
And
would he do MMA moves, like kickboxing stuff too?
I don't remember that, but he looked like he'd skipped every leg day there was. Like he's never worked. He's very small, like waist down, but like huge up top.
But a triangle up top, huh?
And it was like, what is this guy?
There was some guy last night
bro.
that looked like he had just come over from the UFC Uriah Faber gym, and he's doing like shadow boxing, elbow toss, and he had some decent kicks.
Yeah,
like he's full roundhousing, and like you could tell he's got some skills.
Yeah,
but it was like, dude. No one here is doing that shit.
Yeah.
Like no one.
Just people are there to get in and work out and get out. I feel like.
It's okay.
I can't wait to get back in there. It's been bugging me that we haven't been going. It's like I hate paying for some service that I'm not using.
Yeah,
and that's one of the things about one of the many reasons prior that I wouldn't have joined a gym is because I wouldn't have gone. it
Right.
wasn't interesting enough to keep me going, or I wasn't interested enough in it to stay on board. And now I feel like I like it. I kind of want to go.
Right.
I feel like I enjoy how I feel. Like it makes me feel good. And now we haven't been going for a couple of weeks, and I just can't wait to get back in there.
I feel what it does too is like a 2 or 3 steps removed type of benefit. The time I put in, it takes it out of me.
Yeah.
So I feel like I get to bed earlier because I'm just flat out fucking tired. Like I've put in a good amount of time. Like, and when I lift on the machines that I'm doing, I'm giving it the business.
Yeah.
I'm not half-assing it. Like I'm going as hard as I can for the purpose of putting in the effort 100%. And then it takes it out of me. I get tired. I come home. I'm like,
I certainly feel like I sleep better.
Yeah, there's that.
Yeah.
And I to some degree, because I'm then more tired, I'm not going to sit in bed. Usually I'll watch something in bed, to like
dumb down your
just to like boop, flatten it out, and just kind of humdrummy, and that will wind me down. But oftentimes when I'm not tired or I don't put out that physical effort, I'm all of a sudden watching something for the purpose of nothing other than watching something, and now it's been 2 hours.
Yeah.
I'm like, I really need to go to bed. Oh, but this is kind of interesting. And it's like, well, but when I go to the gym and let it all hang out kind of thing, 15 minutes, I'm like, I'm tired.
I'm tired.
I'm putting this away. I'm calling it a night.
Yep.
And then I do feel better in the morning.
Yeah.
And I use the gym as almost like a limiter or an excuse to, it's okay to go to bed early. As much as I would like to be productive 99.99999% of the time I'm awake, the bottom line is that's draining.
Yeah.
It's draining. My focus, or my attention to detail starts to slip. You got to get the sleep. Mm-hmm. You have to get the sleep. Hey.
The front door is locked. Mom said it would be unlocked, but it was not.
There you go.
So I've been lied to.
Hi.
How's it going?
You're the sacrificial lamb?
Mom was. I was.
No, because now you're on.
Basically.
All right.
She told me, the front door is locked. You can just unlock. You can just walk home. I said, okay.
Oh, it's just you?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
So speaking of kids, since we had a show last week, I have driven to Portland and back.
Yeah.
God damn. That is a long drive, but not nearly as long as my daughter's roommate's dad, who drove from Claremont.
I don't know where that is.
That is like it's kind of near where Melanie was going to school. Just a little bit further east.
Fullerton?
Yeah. A little
So
further east. So
wow.
they did it in 2 days. They drove from Claremont when they drove up, they stayed in Woodland and then drove the rest of the way. And then on the way back, he couldn't get a room in Woodland, so he got a room in Elk Grove. So he drove all the way to Elk Grove and then got up the next morning and drove the rest of the way.
Is that
today?
Oh, so I guess I hadn't done that math, but the Fullerton would essentially be a pretty common feeder school for this grad school.
No,
In
she didn't go to Fullerton.
Oh,
the roommate went.
They just happened to live down
They
there.
just happened to live in Claremont.
Oh, well,
yeah.
there you go.
The dad went to Fullerton for grad work.
Oh,
Yeah, he graduated from there many years ago. Just as an aside.
no.
So fascinating, interesting, long-ass drive, a lot of...
So you thought you were Billy Badass, but he doubled it.
Yeah, 2 days. I mean, he did 4 days of driving, basically.
Wow.
4 days. So that's 600 miles-ish.
How was the drive?
Easy. I'm going to say, I'm going to have a little rant, actually. California drivers suck ass. California drivers are the worst.
Yeah.
People here don't understand how highways work or understand the mechanics of a fucking fast lane or a passing lane.
Mm-hmm.
They don't.
No.
They don't get it. People love to just camp out. It's not a fucking lane to camp out. Get over. If someone comes up behind you, you get over. That's what you do. This is how it works. You go to any other fucking state, for the most part, and this is how it works everywhere. People are so courteous up there.
I was going to say the inherent understanding of courtesy.
Yeah.
Seems to be.
Now, around town,
Right.
in some situations, I noticed there's, I don't know, we ran into several weird situations in parking lots and stuff like that. But, like, as a whole, like, people just don't drive like complete assholes there. People do the speed limit. It is the most bizarre thing. It is weird.
This is Oregon.
This is in Oregon. Yeah. Fascinating. The difference is stunning to me. Really interesting. So, but anyway, got her up there, met her roommate, got her shit moved in. I built furniture. I took tools, built a bed, built a desk, built a shelving unit.
Did you build a prison?
I mean, pretty much a grad school prison.
Mind.
Yeah. I built a bunch of stuff for her. We Facebook marketplace some furniture. Like, we didn't know it at the time, but the free couch was also a sleeper.
Oh.
So that was fun. Carrying that motherfucker up a flight of stairs, and it was big and heavy. Pretty good sized sleeper.
Was it just, who was your muscle? You and
me and the other dad and the girls. It was, and I had to go rent like a Home Depot truck to get it from the one chick's apartment over to their apartment. And I
was saying, I noticed that too around the area, as specifically as I am aware of all of Piper's friends slowly starting to disseminate to the colleges that they're matriculating. The increased population of U-Hauls and rental trucks that are full of beds and sofas and things in the area. Like, you can tell the exodus and influx has started to move based off of the
we had
rentals.
Like the bed was delivered, the mattress was delivered, the desk we took with us, I think Chandler bought it for her. He bought her a desk, which was nice of him. But most everything was, she didn't take a lot of like hard things, like no dresser, none of that kind of stuff. We just didn't have room. We don't have anything to tow something with. So it's not like we can go get a U-Haul trailer. I mean, we could get a hitch on something and tow something, but we just didn't want to do that. But everything that she had, including all of the squish, fit in 2 cars, her car and my car. And it was tight. I even had shit in the front seat.
I was going to say, I saw the shoehorn of the Cadillac, so I know it was to the brim.
It was. All the seats were down, and it was full to the roof, and then her car was full pretty much to the roof. And but the drive was fine. I had never taken that drive between here and Portland on I-5 completely in either direction ever. So like last summer we went around 5, right? For the most part. So I was surprised at how much, once you kind of get to Shasta Lake area and it becomes mountainous and then you cross over the border into Oregon, how much mountain stuff there is for just fucking miles. It's like a ton of mountains. It feels like when you go to the Sierra, you go over one of the passes and you kind of go up and then you come down the backside and you're all done with the mountains.
Yeah.
We're all finished. But man, it was just like up and down and around and up and down. It was just for miles and miles. And I was like, shit, this is way more mountains than I would have ever thought. Like, did we take a wrong turn in Albuquerque?
I haven't done that. in decades.
Yeah,
so,
it was crazy.
All my recollections are probably fuzzy at best.
One of the things I did run across up there, in which is Hillsboro is right next to Beaverton. They're literally like kind of blend with their border a little bit. Sometimes my daughter's address shows up as Beaverton and sometimes Hillsboro. But what we were going to pick up the couch and like get the rental truck and ran across the Nike world headquarters.
Oh.
Campus is ginormous. Like, I knew they were from Oregon somewhere, but I never would have ever guessed they were going to be right down the street from Melanie's apartment.
Huh.
So bizarre. And just beautiful, huge complex, and just the swoosh out front. But, like, there are berms, like big built berms all the way around the facility. So, like, I don't know if that's to keep noise in or to keep eyes out. You know what I mean? But they have, like, one of the entrances, there's a soccer field. Like, you can clearly see a big-ass soccer field right outside. And, tons of that kind of stuff. Really, really interesting. And then I ran across one of the company's test equipment that we use is Tektronix. Saw the Tektronix, which is right down the street from Nike. Saw their facility. I was like, oh, shit, I got Tektronix stuff at home. That was kind of cool. But it's a lot of driving. At one point, my wife and I were driving home yesterday, and we stopped for some food. And I looked at the map just to see where we were, and we still had a drive to Orange County from our house to Orange County.
Wow.
That was how much, like, we had been driving for a couple hours, and then we still had.
And she had to work today.
I took today off.
You had time to take, but
I got tons of time.
She had
to get on back
on the saddles.
Yep, back in class.
So when we left last week's show, you had expressed the dad weight.
Oh, that was tough.
What? So how was that drive home? Was there a lot of self-reflection?
Absolutely.
Good.
It's what I kind of, Shannon and I were kind of talking about a little bit on the way home because it was hard. It was a situation where you knew this was coming for several months.
Yeah.
And it all accumulated all at one moment. And it was so hard to, that leaving, see you later, was really tough. You're 600 miles away. It's not easy for us to get back up here.
Right. Yeah.
I hope you're self-reliant.
It was like, just from the outside looking in, it was like when you had done maybe like a check-in, I think it was Sunday or Monday. It's like Mike and I just said it was like, you've done the best, like from what we can see, you've done the best and the most amount of things that you can do as a dad. And at some point, I'm not there yet because mine aren't leaving the house.
Right.
And you are, but from an outside looking in, like it looks like you've checked all the boxes best as you can as a dad. So I can only give you my thumbs up and appreciation for doing what looks to be best possible case scenario as a dad.
What's crazy to me is you would think it would be easier because we've done this a couple times. She did like 3 move-aways already. You know what I mean?
High school to Fullerton.
Well, yeah, like her
back.
Freshman year and then home for the summer and then back down there the next year into an apartment. Mm-hmm. And then the pandemic happened and then it was like, Zoom U, class in her bedroom.
Right.
And then back down to school for her last semester to finish up school. So it's like we've done this like 3 times, move her down there. And the second 2 times were not really that hard. It was sort of like, we kind of understand how this is. We get it. Like the first one was tough. These couple ones, it's like, we're going to see you in a few months. We get it.
Right.
We get it.
Yeah.
Of course, we didn't know that because of the pandemic wasn't going to take place and all that kind of stuff.
Right.
But it was it was easier for sure. This one was hard because it's like you're in a whole nother state.
Yeah.
and really far away. And doing something special. And like, I know you're going to do well kind of a thing. So it was, we both struggled. My wife couldn't talk for a long time in the car. It was quiet.
Yeah.
For a while.
Take some moments.
Yeah.
I can only imagine.
Yeah, it was tough. I can't lie. It was not easy. And you knew it was coming.
Yeah.
It's not like it was a fucking secret.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
You knew for months that this was all of the work that you were doing were leading up to this trip.
Wait, where'd this come from?
Yeah.
What?
We're leading up to this.
I didn't know you were actually going to stay.
Yeah.
What? Come on. Yeah.
And, there's a couple things. There's one thing in particular I regret, which was shortly before we arrived back at her apartment with, I'll give you an example. This is yesterday before we left. We realized later the night before that we needed to get her groceries.
Oh, okay.
So by the time we really kind of realized that, it was late and most of the grocery stores had closed or whatever, especially like Trader Joe's, which is one of her favorite places. So we were like, okay, fine. Trader Joe's opens at 8. We'll get up and get ready, check out of the hotel. We'll go to Trader Joe's, get your groceries.
Bunch of shit. Yeah.
Go unload it. And then it's see ya.
Right.
So this was the plan. And so we did the grocery shopping and we got back to the house. And I have, my car has that thing where you don't have to get your keys out. As long as the fob is near, you can press the button. It'll unlock the doors.
Okay.
And I have a very heavy grocery bag, like a reusable grocery bag of my wife's in one hand. That has got like sauces and cans and like a bunch of really heavy. So it's really heavy and I don't want to put it down.
Okay.
And then in the other hand, I literally have like a Trader Joe's paper bag full of other stuff in this hand. And my keys are in this hand's pocket.
Okay.
So I've got this going on and I need the doors to lock. I can't get to my keys. But what I can do is try and get close to the car so the fob's recognized and have someone just press the button.
Okay.
So I say to my daughter, hey, can you press the button? And that moment realizing I'm probably not close enough to the car for it to recognize that my keys are here. And she presses the button and it does not lock. And she's like, it's not locked. And she just like takes off. And like goes to the back of the car. And I'm like, I'm angry because how much effort I have put into and my wife has put into all of this, everything. And all I am asking you to do
is give me a moment of your time to
lock the car.
Right.
And I got pretty upset.
Okay.
And yeah. I didn't yell.
Right.
But I got short. I was upset.
Yeah.
And that caused a problem. And this is like 15 minutes before
we're
supposed to be leaving. We haven't quite made it up to the apartment to unload the groceries and put them away.
Right.
But like, I still feel bad about that.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like, give me a hand.
Trade me a little bit of your...
Give me a hand.
Yeah.
Please.
Yeah.
I'm not asking a lot.
Yeah.
I think there's some of that also from Melanie's side.
Sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And we've been feeling it for a couple of weeks. She'll get stressed out and like lose her cool. I don't care for that. I don't care for it at all. Because it makes me feel like I'm not being treated very well, or my wife's not being, even though we are I feel like we are trying to do the best that we possibly can, or provide the best possible help that we can. And it upsets me when that happens too.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So there's both ways for sure.
Piper too is she's like a ball of raw emotion too.
Yeah.
Lately, as as her friends, she has a really good, close-knit group of friends. Like they all are, Biblis, like ride or dies at this point. I feel like she probably maintained, probably not far off the same sort of core crew that I had when I was in high school. Like oh wow, that's blinkety blink blink.
Fun.
That I did in high school. She has too, and so as one of the main differences, perhaps for her, is that she has a lot of her core are all fully disseminating, like going far to locations.
Oh wow!
And whereas I think for me, perhaps at my school was much more like the dates weren't so staggered. It was like everyone's pretty much leaving at this date, and you're spread. She's got friends that are kind of like leaving in onesies, twosies, in like days or a couple days apart. So she seems to keep getting slapped with this, the detachment. Like, oh, we're having a going away party for, and a going away party for, and last dinner camping experience with, and this is, and so she's just.
There's a lot of finalizing.
Yeah. And it's right. It's hard. I get it, but she then comes with the time that she's not out socializing and getting these one-offs, and goodbyes. She's like a frustrated, upset dervish.
Yeah.
And to some extent, very
you get
similar.
Lashed out on.
It's either being ignored, or short responses, or just flat out like side-eyed and what. And it's nothing that I'm doing is currently at the tier in which you are, where she has a lot of reliance on something to move or to do anything that she's not going anywhere. So a lot of that interaction frustration seems to be between her and Venus, but only in short spurts, not to the extent. But I can see that the kids themselves have their own.
She's feeling the stress.
Sure, absolutely. Yeah. And I think she starts school on Tuesday.
Oh, wow.
So, and I think Nick and maybe a couple of her friends that are left leave after she starts school. So she's going to have this small window of time where there's some legitimate expectations of her to be focused on her own new path. And at the back of her noggin, she's got rolling around, Nick is leaving.
Mm-hmm. So,
yeah,
that's tough.
I'm sure it's going to be tough, and I don't. Well, tune in next week.
Well, one of the things I'm happy about with Melanie is that she's rooming with somebody who is in the same program. So there's only like 27 or 8 students that get accepted into this program.
Mm-hmm.
Her roommate is in the same program. So my understanding is that they will be taking all of their classes together.
Oh, okay.
So the way this program works is they do one topic is like a 2-week long thing, and then they get tested and have to pass in order to move on. So them rooming together and taking these classes together.
So she also has like a learning buddy.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's huge.
Sure.
And then they can commute together. They can go ride the train together if they want to go to class that way, whatever. So today was, we left yesterday. Today they had their orientation. So they were at the school pretty much all day with orientation. Then they have something going on tomorrow. Classes start on Monday. They're just jumping right in.
Hit it. Ground running.
Now, the only thing that I would have changed about this trip would be knowing she sort of delayed moving up there to the last possible minute, because she's been paying rent on this place for a couple of weeks already.
Okay.
If we had gone maybe a week or a week and a half earlier, Shanna would have not been working.
Oh.
We could have taken more time. I have tons of time
Yeah.
at work. We would have been able to go for, instead of just 2 days, we could have done 3 or 4 or 5 days maybe.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? That would have been nice. It would have got her settled. She would have had a week or so before all of this stuff kicked in.
Without getting too far into the personal whys, could you have done that? Was there a reason that kept you guys knowing that she was paying rent? Is there a reason why you had to wait till?
It wasn't up to me.
Oh,
it was up to Melanie, I think. And when she decided she wanted to go.
Oh, okay.
Essentially. But the unfortunate part of that is we couldn't stay because Shanna's work started up and she
was
had to be she had to be back today. So I mean, if it had been planned a little bit better or more thought had been put into it, we could have gone a week before. Shanna would have had plenty of time, and then we could have spent more time
dialing in.
Yeah, rather than the 2 days of like, oh shit, we have to put an apartment together and put all this stuff together and organize all of your stuff and make it a living place for you.
Blitzkrieg of preparation.
Yeah. So, it's fine.
Yeah.
It's for my camera is not happy. It's fine, but it was it could have been a little bit better, but I think Melanie just didn't want to be there.
Yeah.
When she could have been home with us.
That's
for
her personal adjustment and how she creates her own atmosphere.
And whatever. It is what it is. I do whatever I'm told.
What the ladies tell. Yeah.
I do what I'm told. Yeah. So, I don't know. It's but
off and running. Here we go.
Literally hitting the ground running. I mean, orientation today, classes start on Monday, and it's like they're in a hospital. It's like clinical stuff.
Does she have a lab coat?
Oh man, I asked that same thing, but you know what is interesting is I don't think so initially. Maybe they do, but they actually have their lab. It's a lab coat ceremony, which is like their. I want to say it's like their.
Yeah, we're doing a show. Make sure you pick up your dog shit.
I think it's their
camera.
I know.
It's
that cable. I know you're not touching it. The shit's heating up, and then something's happening.
I have electric underwear.
You can talk for a second. I'll just fuck with the cable real fast.
Oh, okay. So I'm not one that frequents the TikTok download spirals. Yeah. Like I don't really watch. Occasionally, my daughter or my wife will feed me something from TikTok that they think is funny. But I don't really peruse it. Or I get something from you on occasion. And generally when I pull that up, it's not logged in. I'm just watching whatever you guys feed me. And then on occasion, I end up it'll just auto run and just start feeding me shit. But I don't stick around. If I had a guilt,
you don't spend time just scrolling through TikTok and watching stuff.
No. If I had a guilty pleasure that was close to that, oftentimes, as we talked earlier, as I'm winding down in bed, I do enjoy the handyman tips that you didn't know you needed. And guys, I think that are out of Ukraine or something that are cranking out these stupidly inventive ways to use a tool that you wouldn't use a tool to perform some action washers and zip ties and crazy shit like that. I'll watch those, but just going down a rabbit hole for TikTok, I don't watch. But I ended up on something. It was a TikTok repasting in Twitter from the singer Toni Braxton of all people.
Okay.
For how this thing made it into my Twitter feed, I don't know, but it was originally a TikTok thing. And it was two young ladies in a mall talking about how to, if you can't get into a dressing room to try on a pair of pants, how you can quickly assess if you want to buy these pants, whether or not they're going to fit. And essentially you take she had jeans on, like the waist, right?
Yeah.
And it's buttoned and zipped, so you're taking it like off the hanger as like a hanging pair of pants, and you wrap it around your neck. And if coming all the way around your neck, if the two ends, like a cape, touch, it's a perfect fit for your waist. If it overlaps, like the fabric overlaps,
you're going to need a belt.
Or you can't touch it, they don't fit right.
Okay.
So I sent it to my wife because
you thought,
I shop, I know my waist size or what fits. I don't fuck around with dressing rooms. I just go in and get a set of pants.
Dude, don't even get me started on dressing rooms, because that is one of the worst experiences of my life.
I just need pants. I go in, get the pants, I buy the pants. I don't try the pants.
Right.
Unless my wife is with me, and for whatever reason I want to let her see my ass in a set of pants, I'm not trying on pants. I just buy the pants.
I get real cranky when I have to use a dressing room. Real cranky.
I don't have time for this shit. I just don't have time. So I sent this video to my wife. I'm like, does this work? Like, as someone, if you were in a jam, as her and my daughter frequent, I presume, dressing rooms, because I don't, does this work? She's like, I don't really know. My daughter had come home, or she woke up, I think it was, and I tried to show my daughter, like, hey, these are young people doing a young thing about pants. Would you do this? Like, does this work? And she kind of like, one, I was interrupting her watching season 2 of Daredevil.
Yeah, you were.
So clearly I was a dick.
Yeah.
And she kind of like watched it and got maybe like 10 seconds into it. She went, I would just try on the fucking pants. And I went, yeah, okay, but does this work? And she's like, I would just try on the pants. And I went, God damn it. So
what if you're sweaty and it's hot?
Yeah. What if, there's 10 deep at the dressing rooms? She couldn't be bothered. So I'm like, fine, whatever. So I walked back to the office, and I'm working for maybe 30 minutes, 40 minutes, and the message that I have to my wife is still up. And so it's kind of like on this loop as I pull back up and get a break. I kind of look back up, and I see the tip doing its loop again. And I went, fuck, okay, hold on a second. So I went into the bedroom.
I was going to say, there's an easy way to check this.
I went into the bedroom.
Yeah.
I got out a pair of jeans that I haven't worn in I haven't worn jeans in a while, but I have been going to the gym.
Winter.
Yeah, since probably fucking February or something. But I'm like, well, my wife doesn't put things that don't fit me in my drawer, so clearly these fit. So I got out a pair of jeans, Levi's, put them around my neck, and they touched perfectly. And I take a picture, and I send it to my wife. I'm like, okay, so
do these pants fit?
These work, right? These should fit. So then I fucking down to the jockeys, put on the jeans. Fucking, I'll be goddamn, they fit perfectly around my waist. Now the difference is that since this ties back to the top of the hour with the gym. My thighs are beefier.
Yeah.
And they fit like spandex around my thighs.
Oh, damn.
But they fit real nice.
In the waist.
In the waist. Like plenty of room.
See,
I would struggle to sit down.
That's where that's the unknown.
Right.
Is the other,
so I'm like,
the other bits.
So here's the problem, right?
Yeah.
So congratulations, the pants fit around your waist, but if you can't get them over your fucking thighs, well, then you've got problems.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
And it doesn't do anything for length, but again, most people do the whole like
hold it up
to your hips
drape
kind
it
of
down.
thing.
Yeah.
So maybe, and then Venus, then I'm doing a thing where I'm taking pictures of like me wearing the jeans with. I'm like, they fucking fit. Like it works. So you have to try this for me.
All right.
So when you go home, take a pair of. I think this. You're looking for probably slacks or something without an elastic waist.
I don't own a pair of slacks.
Jeans.
Yeah, I got jeans.
Yeah.
Like,
or shorts that have a waist that's not stretchy or.
What do you
that
think?
you
I
know
just
you need a belt.
lounge around in elastic waistband shorts.
I don't know
all
if
the
you're
time?
like my dad who wears sweats for fucking everything. Like, Dad, you gotta throw the sweats away. Throw the sweats away, Dad. And I have like really nice pants that I've migrated to for working outside, like not construction pants. Just throwaway pants to get dirty and whatnot, because I'm not allowed to get my nice jeans dirty.
No.
Heaven forbid.
Yeah. You can't even wear them. Don't wear them. They will get dirty.
Yeah. But they fit really nice around the waist, but they also have an elastic like band going on in there.
Yeah.
They're really nice to. The aviator jeans may not apply because they have that
stretch fabric.
They have slightly spandex woven into the fabric. But Levi's, the Levi's fucking dead nuts. And I went, oh, well, I guess it's good that I have jeans that actually fit the right way.
Yeah.
But two, I'll be goddamned. It worked. Curious.
That is interesting.
Curious.
Sometimes, it doesn't happen often, but the TikTok scroll, sometimes if I'm bored, and not very often, I'm talking like maybe once every week or two, I'll like get into TikTok and start watching stuff. There's a bunch of interesting stuff in there.
There is.
Yeah.
Oh, and part of my apprehension is one, like all of a sudden some algorithm figuring me out. So that's part of why I stay away. I'm like, I don't need some machine dialing me in to 99% accuracy and feeding me woodworking, welding, tool man, content creator shit.
I think it depends on whether or not you like stuff or, like actually tap like. Or subscribe to things is where it starts figuring you out. So like in my wife's case,
I don't click on shit
because my daughter is a Squish person, Squishmallow Mel, right? And my wife likes all of her stuff. She starts to get fed.
Shan gets fed.
My wife will get fed a ton of Squish content based on the fact that she's liked all this other Squish content. You know what I mean?
But does Shan like Squish content?
I mean, she's interested in it because Melanie's interested in it.
Oh, okay. So they sort of have her pegged.
I mean,
but not.
But only. Shanna wouldn't be into it if Melanie wasn't into it, and not that I'm not saying that Shanna's into it. It's she's interested by it or whatever. I don't know. Subtly, maybe.
Yeah. How come when I look at just your own profile, it's like latex and glassware and bongs? What's going on, Shan?
Yeah.
What are you trying to say?
Yeah, and Squishmallows,
and then Squishmallows as a tie-in.
But I do hear the kids talking about, I'm stuck on something talk, which is like not something that as in like whatever the thing is talk.
Oh,
I'm stuck on car talk or whatever.
Oh,
you know what I mean?
Oh, yes.
And they'll start getting fed a bunch of stuff.
Oh, yeah.
And probably because they went through and liked some things that they watched, and then suddenly TikTok's like, "Oh, you like this shit? Well, here's some more of that shit."
Yeah,
here.
It's like Mike and whatever he's done on occasion to get himself on Star Wars TikTok. Like Mike dumps me Star Wars meme pictures, probably to his detriment. Like I get it, and we have a good laugh. And because he's probably spinning an extra cycle or something, like screenshotting a meme or saving a picture, TikTok keeps feeding him Star Wars shit.
Yeah.
Only because he's giving it to me. Like, he's like, I'm sure probably fucking tired of it. Like, hey, dickheads, I would like more car memes.
Yeah.
I don't need Star Wars memes. That's foo.
I only do this for him. Don't blame the messenger.
You can stop giving me the shit because Foo really needs it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can you just transfer all of these recommendations over to Foo?
We're close.
Yeah.
In time.
Yeah.
I will tell you that the last 3 episodes of Severance finally made the series worthwhile.
There you see? It takes
but
a
that's
bit
a long haul. I told my wife, I said if they'd have somehow figured out how to condense the last 3 episodes, of of season 1, because there's no season 2,
Not yet,
right? Not yet, were super engaging.
Well,
I felt there was a long haul.
There was, I think for us, it was about the first 2 shows was the long haul. And it was captivating, though, still, even though it was a little bit on the slower side.
Mm-hmm.
So for us, it was captivating because you just wanted more information. There was things happening you just didn't understand. And I got to keep watching to find out what the fuck is going on.
So here's what triggered it for me. The last 3 episodes is what ended up happening was I went back to wait, did that happen over here or here? I went back to that third to last episode. So second or third to last.
Yeah.
And what hit me was in the series recap, I pulled everything I needed to know with nothing that I wasn't useful in that 30 seconds previously on Severance. I pulled everything that I needed to know and was key to me knowing in watching that next episode. And I went, okay, for me, that's a problem because I spent 4 or 5 episodes learning stuff that personally I thought were stretched way too thin.
Uh-huh.
And here you actually just condensed all of those episodes into what I needed to know in about 30 seconds to a minute. And I'm 100% comfortable. And I went back and watched 3 or whatever. How many episodes were there? 10? 11?
9 or 10 or something.
8, 9, and 10. Super engaging. The writing and the acting, absolutely. If you can get all the way through it, I promise you the last 3 episodes, pay dirt.
Well,
absolute pay dirt.
This is where we differ because we didn't. Like I said, it's a slow starter for sure.
Mm-hmm.
But I didn't feel like it was a slow starter to the point to where by episode 3 I was going, come on, I'm not gonna fucking come back to this show. We were hooked by the end of episode 2 for sure. I think I was hooked at episode 1 because it was just like so fucking bizarre what was going on.
Yeah, the concept is definitely new to me. Mm-hmm. And that's what
I think that was one of the things that those first several shows are like establishing the oddity that is the Severance thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think that's probably the slowness in it is that you're starting to like paint this picture and they're giving you this data that you're going, oh, I see. But they're giving you then visuals that back up what you understand to be happening. So it's like you understand something that's be happening. So your mind is like going ahead, but they're giving you the visuals to back up the process. I think that kind of what happens.
And I felt the last episode was one of those things to me was like a lost experience. Like there was so many fantastic nuggets and lead-ins to questions that you're like, well, yeah, of course. Or what is, and that, and that it was like, I feel it was, they weren't necessarily cliffhanger moments where I felt like, oh, well, fucking great. Now I've got to wait until blah, blah, blah. They were presented in a way that was like, ooh, okay. Well, what does that mean? And Venus asked me the next day, she's like, so how was the last episode? And I went, the last episode was so balls to the wall awesome that they have definitely got my attention for that first episode of the second season.
For sure.
Because they have presented it in such a way that I am absolutely 100% engaged and intrigued on how they're going to answer some of those questions.
Yeah.
If they start dragging that shit out like Lost and leave some of those questions unhanging or present it in a long con type of thing again, I'll get frustrated because the pacing on 7, 8, 9 or 8, 9, 10 as far as episodes were so amazing to me.
Yeah.
I was so blown away that it was like, oh, yes, please. Absolutely. More cake. Bring me more cake.
Yeah.
You know,
I mean,
could not get enough.
Some of that early establishment stuff was a little bit long in the tooth, but I ate it up. You know what I mean? Like, I was like where you were, you know, I was definitely in there with you a little bit where I'm like, where is this going? But I was intrigued enough to like make sure that I was sticking around for the next show for sure. But that last show.
Oh, yeah. It was fantastic.
Show,
fantastic.
Smokes.
And
it ended and we were all like,
right.
That's it.
And there's enough, the writing to me felt so skillful that I didn't feel like they were, it wasn't one of those intellectual things where I'm like, yeah, but there's a plot hole here and here. And, you know, I could pick that apart. And that bugs me, and I'm not, you know, this is lazy writing. The way that they've set stuff up, you can tell that everything is well thought out. Everything is pieced together. There's very little in the way of plot holes that I can find. And I've tried to, you know, arm's length on anything as far as outside the show. Like, I'm not looking stuff up.
Oh, I haven't either.
Because I wanted, you know, as raw and native of an
I want
experience.
the show to give me what it has to give me.
Right.
Yeah.
There was nothing where I went, yeah, but how does that, like, where are you leaving that?
Well, you definitely have those questions in the earlier shows.
Sure.
And that's part of the setup is they end up slowly kind of giving you those answers. And I think that's part of the understanding of, I think in my mind, the complexity of the plot of the show lends itself to that slow come up, right?
Yeah.
I think it's complex enough from a mental, like gymnastics kind of idea, like oh shit, like okay, Severance, right?
Sure.
And that's what kept us all captivated. And that was one of those shows that doesn't come around very often.
So have you caught For All Mankind?
I don't think
It's
so.
Apple II.
No, I don't think I've seen that.
And this is where I can't remember. I think when you told me originally, like, check out Severance. It was when I had COVID. I think I got 3/4 of the way into the first Severance episode. And I'm like, I don't know about this one. And then I pulled up, I think the next day, an opportunity to watch TV. I'm like, okay, well, what's this For All Mankind one? That one was hook, line, and sinker, but not the same kind of piece. It's more of like drama science, like because it's about like the space program, but like a twist. Like, what if the Russians beat us to the moon first, kind of thing, and told in a different way. It's like, oh, well, you kind of know these beats because it's loosely tied to our own national history, but the twist is, what if we stayed engaged with space travel from the Kennedy proclamation on? And I binged that like, because it was like, how do you keep... it kept my interest because it was telling a similar story with a different twist. Great acting. But the intellectual writing and story is not even close to the same as Severance, but very, very entertaining. So if you haven't tried that one...
Here's what's nuts about Severance. Ben Stiller.
Oh, yeah. Most of those episodes were directed?
I think he's a producer, too.
Yeah.
And a writer, I want to say.
Oh, yeah. I saw towards the tail end director for multiples.
Dark shit going on in his...
Yeah.
You know,
like, were you doing this stuff when his father passed away? I'm like, yeah. You could see like some... Like, you want to be severed too, Ben?
Yeah.
Like, hey, I mean... Anyway.
Yeah.
if you haven't caught Severance, trust me,
You'll get there.
You'll get there.
Yeah.
Stick it out. The last, it's definitely worth it. I will be encouraged, to catch that second season. Yeah, well, shit happens. We'll see how that. And on that note,
hey, you should wash your hands.
Wash your ass.
Check your oil, Tony.
Wear the mask.
Do the kindness.
Return the cart.
And
we'll catch you next week.
Yeah. Have a good week, everybody. Thanks for listening.
All right, bye.